This is the Moyu Weilong WR, and this is the PVC coated version. Normally we put stuff on the insides of our cubes, but today I'll be telling you why this new coating from Speedcube Shop can make your cube shinier, get you better official competition results, and become more durable. First, there is a clear coating put on top of it, which makes it shinier and more damage resistant. Then, I'm not sure how well you can see it on camera, but there's a clear overlay sticker as well, which is to further prevent damage to the actual plastic of the cube, as well as improving your competition results, which I will explain later. And then on top of that, the same coating that was first applied to the cube is now applied one more time on top of all this, so the stickers also don't come up. So here, this is a normal cube and this is the coated cube. Now, I'm going to run my finger over it with about the same amount of force and show you what happens. So here, I can run about up to this edge, and here if I try to apply the same amount of force, I actually don't end up as far. And that's the only visual way I can show you that this is actually a little bit stickier on the outside. Or not really sticky, like sticking to your hands, but there is more friction when you run your fingers over it, and that's really important. So on cubes with regular plastic, I find that when I'm turning at home especially, then everything is fine, as in I really get used to how the plastic feels, and I optimize the way I turn for this. So then in competitions, everyone's hands get a little bit sweaty, even if it's cold. Now, it's not always sweat you can feel, but once you start touching the plastic of the cube, it actually changes the way the cube feels. And this is further changed by the humidity and temperature of the competition room you're in, as well as the fact that once you hand off the cube for someone to scramble and it comes back, it's cold and you haven't touched it in a while and someone else has touched it, so maybe it feels a little bit different, and that completely changes how the plastic feels. And maybe you think I'm exaggerating, but at a competition, the cube literally feels different when it comes out of the cover compared to whatever you were using before that. So now with this, it doesn't feel different. No matter who touches it, what temperature it's at, whether or not your hands are sweaty, it's always exactly the same. Now with this cube, I said that the outside feels a little bit stickier, and that's actually exactly what cubes like this feel like in competition. The problem is non-coated cubes do not feel like that all the time, so you're always practicing on a cube that is different from what you'll be using in competition. Meanwhile with this, no matter what the temperature, humidity, my hand sweatiness or not, whether someone has touched it or not, whether the cube has been heated from turning or not, the outside always feels the same. And so at my last competition, I have not drastically improved at 3x3 at all, but I did two averages on this cube, which I've never used in competition, and I got 9.04 and 8.68. And take a look at my averages before that. Clearly, I'm pretty bad at competition considering I get over 10 all the time, even though I average under 9. And in competition, I found myself focusing more on look ahead and just all the normal stuff I focus on at home. And I wasn't really thinking about, will I be able to turn well today? Because I was doing just fine, and I've really never felt that way about any cube in a competition. So next I want to show that this is actually scratch proof. But if you scratch deep enough that you actually get into the plastic, then you're probably trying really hard to scratch this thing. If you get scratches just from putting it in the same bag as like keys and stuff, then chances are it's just going to scratch the coating or the overlay sticker, and that is completely fixable, which I'll show you here. So Cameron told me about this and I've never tried it, so let's hope nothing goes wrong. So I'm just going to take a key and pretty roughly scratch over this. Okay, that actually isn't doing anything. So I'm not going my hardest, but this is definitely harder than you'd ever get from just putting it in a bag with something. Okay, so these scratches look like they're sticking around for now. All right, so there's a decent amount of scratches there. Let's go to plan B. So there's the scratches. Plan B is where you take a hairdryer and quickly go over it. Okay, so this piece has gotten pretty hot, not to the point where I want it to be burning because it is still plastic. So just heated enough that you can tell it is hot. I normally describe how cubes feel and not temperatures, so I'm not very good at this. So I've heard you can even rub your cube over concrete and this still fixes it, but I'm not going to do that because this is my precious cube. By the way, the coating comes with a lifetime guarantee, so if anything is wrong with the coating, I'm not sure what the exact terms are, but you could probably just return it and get a new one. All right, if I really search for it, I can still, like right at this lighting, I can still kind of see the scratches were there. But I mean, if you never told me they were there, I would not have known. Look, from here it looks fine. Maybe it's going away right now. It's still cooling down. And I scratched that pretty hard with the key, so if you just throw this in your bag, like a lot of people do, and it gets scratches, then that can easily be fixed now with a hairdryer. So that's pretty much most of the features of the cube, at least the most important ones. And so if you're a competitive person going to competitions, this can really help as you are essentially practicing on the same cube that you'd feel in a competition. And then if you damage your cubes a lot, obviously you can fix it, but just remember that this is a cube coating and it doesn't cover certain parts of the cube. Like if you throw your cube onto the ground and a piece would break without the coating, it would still break with the coating because the coating doesn't affect how hard it hits the ground. So you still have to be careful with your cubes, just don't worry about scratching the surface anymore because that can easily be fixed. I'll put a link in the description to this product once it is released. As of making this video, it is not released yet though. I was told that an estimate for the price of this coating may be upwards of $20. Like honestly, when I heard that for the first time, it did sound a little expensive, but after testing this in competition, like if another really good cube came out and you wanted to buy it for $20 or more, you'd probably have better competition results just having some random cube being coated and being really used to that. Thank you so much to Speed Cube Shop for sending me this cube. Remember, if you want to buy anything from there, you can use the discount code JPERM. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time.